sometimes some things happen. This is Doug Cornfield for the Pulling Each Other Along show. I've got Dave Geist, Dave Clark, who we're having some audio issues, and we've got a wonderful guest, actually two guests tonight, sharing their incredible stories of human kindness and about an incredible business that they started together as father and son. And this is the Pulling Each Other Along show. Let's see. I got Dave Clark on mute because his audio was not going so great. But Dave Geist, Dave Clark, how you guys doing tonight?
All right. Good. Very good.
Hanging in there.
Very good. Just good?
Great day.
All right. Hopefully we get some people chatting, asking questions. Anything new in our world? I know Dave and I just had 2 camps, so we are we're a little exhausted. We had 2 weeks in a row. And Amy Steffen is saying, how are you? So very nice. How are you, Amy? And glad you're on the Pulling Each Other Along show. And we've got a whole bunch of listeners. And I want to bring in the 2 main guests without further ado. And we'll turn down our little hip hop music, our free music that Restream gives us. And without further ado, we're going to make this show about Mark Cronin and John Cronin. How you guys doing tonight?
We are doing well. How are you?
Thank you.
You know what? Dave's audio is so not very good. I'm going to mute him for a bit, and I'll bring you in, Dave, when we need something. Shake your head real hard when you want to say something, or give me a not, don't give me the finger, but give me like a raise the hand when you want to say something. Your audio's got a lot of feedback. Yep, there you go. What do you want to say, Dave Clark?
So I just check if you're talking to me.
Yes, yeah.
Gotcha.
Just testing.
I'm so used to 2 Daves, I should know better, and just always say Dave Clark, and always say Dave Geist, and always say Dave Stevens.
If you'd like, we'll change our names to Dave.
There you go. We got 4 Daves against the Doug. John,
Yes,
is your middle name John? Is your middle name Dave?
It could be.
I wish.
You wish? Well, it should be. I don't know. Anyway, hey, we're glad to have you guys on tonight, John and Mark, and it's been actually interesting to get to know your story, because I've seen it from afar, and we get saw your advertisements, saw John, and then to have you a part of the Pulling Each Other Along book, we're really excited about that. So
thank you for inviting us to participate.
I'm so grateful.
This matters to us.
Well, one of the things that I love about what you guys are doing is that you're trying to spread happiness. And I saw that in this picture. What in the world is going on here?
We're at a pickle festival.
Yeah.
Can you tell?
Yeah, it's great fun.
So do you like pickles, John?
I'm not crazy about pickles. I love pickles.
You like pickle festivals, though.
Yeah, they do.
Very nice, very nice. So do you have pickled socks?
Yeah, we do. We have pickle sauce. We have a big big deal.
Big deal socks, right?
Yeah, I love that sauce.
We have socks that say "I'm a big deal."
I love that.
Dave Clark resembles that, right? He's a big deal.
Whoa.
So, or something, I don't know. But we've got. Were you a VeggieTale fan when you were growing up?
Nope. We just happened to like to go to local festivals and go out and have some fun.
Yeah, I really fun journey.
Right.
Nice. Well, Dave Clark, why don't you lead us off with a question for these young gentlemen?
John and Mark, I'd like to know what. Take us along a journey to the path of the socks. And,
sure.
Where that seed was planted and how it grew.
Well, our story starts in a small log cabin in the woods. No, not really.
Dang it, that sounded good.
You had me going. It was good. I'm liking this.
It happened. It comes out of the suburbs of New York City on Long Island. But back in the fall of 2016, where were you?
I entered in Huntington High School. I got to be my last year.
So John was in his last year of school, and something you may know if you're diagnosed with a disability anywhere in the U.S., you can stay in the public school system until you turn 21. And that's going to be your last year. And that's frequently known as the 21-year-old cliff. Because when you're in school, all the services you need and supports are right there in front of you. But once you're done, you're on your own. And in some states like Massachusetts or New York or California, there may be a lot of other services available to you, but you've got to go and find them. And that can be very challenging. And then in some other states, like Florida or Texas, there's nothing. So John was about to go over that cliff. They were going to say, get out. We've had enough of you.
Absolutely.
Right? So you were doing what everybody else does. He was trying to figure out, what am I going to do when I'm done with school? What were you looking at?
I look at a job program in school. I don't like the option I don't like.
He didn't see anything he liked. But John here, he is a natural entrepreneur.
Yes, I am.
He did, because he didn't find a solution, a job. He said,
I found one. I'll create one.
You'll create one.
I create one. I want to make one.
So what'd you tell me?
I said I want to go into business with my dad. A father and son business together.
It was his idea.
Yeah.
I was already running some businesses, and he came and said, Dad, I want to go into business with you.
I did.
Which is pretty cool, right? I mean, I don't know about you guys. I got 3 sons. John's the youngest. And this is one I can work with.
I love
so,
you.
It worked out good. But then we had to come up with an idea. What were we going to do? And John, like a lot of entrepreneurs, has a lot of ideas. And some of them were actually good ideas.
Right.
Like, what was your second one?
A second one is a food truck. I got an idea from the movie Chef and John Favreau. The movie about a father and son bonding over a food truck.
So a food truck sounded like a great idea. We started thinking, what could we make? Where would we go?
Right.
But we had a problem.
We can cook.
Yeah.
Minor
But then,
detail.
it was right before Thanksgiving, and John had his eureka moment.
I myself creating socks. Why socks? It's fun, it's colorful, it's creative. I'll always let me be me.
He had worn these crazy socks his whole life. We used to drive around looking for them, right? So we decided if John liked these socks this much, surely there would be other people that would too.
Right.
And we'd go and find our tribe. So we went the lean startup route. We were bootstrapping. We set up a website.
Our website, our website.
We got some inventory.
Yeah.
You guys know what it's like. You make do with the resources you have. So the only marketing we did was to set up a Facebook page, and I would take out my cell phone.
And
we made videos. And who was in the video?
I talk about socks. Socks, more socks.
Right? And what day did we open?
We opened on Friday, December 9th, 2016.
So it tested well. We got a flood of orders that first month, and we said, we got something here. We learned, 1, people want to buy socks.
Yep. 2, people buy socks for me.
They wanted to buy from John.
Right.
They liked that. They liked the fact we had pledged 5% of our earnings to the Special Olympics. They liked the personal touch. What would we put in every package?
Every package get a sticky note and candy.
A handwritten thank you note from John and some candy. And something that surprised us, but you guys will understand, and we're still learning it. People found John inspirational.
Right.
To us, it's just John. But that was something. And then the other thing we learned, just by doing, this young man.
Yep, and an old man.
This old man, we could sell socks. So that's how we got started.
Right.
Interesting.
Right. No, I love it because Yeah, I'm on the entrepreneurial side as well, and so I love this story. I love that you guys are able to not let the roadblock of all the things that they probably said John shouldn't or couldn't do, or he's not qualified for, or whatever. And you found a niche, and you went for it, and I, from what I can tell, are extremely successful. I'm sure you're trying to grow the business, but how many employees do you have right now on that note?
So we've created 31 jobs, and 22 of those are held by people with differing abilities. We've been very fortunate with our growth, but for us, it's really quite simple, right? You mentioned it before. What's our mission?
Our mission is spreading happiness.
That's all we want to do. Everything we do is designed. How can we make you happy? We do it by having, we start. It's got to be a great place to work. Take care of our employees. It's products and services that are designed to make you feel happy. It's making a personal connection with our customers. So we're not focused on the short term or the transaction. We're interested in creating experiences, having conversations, and a long-term relationship. It's giving back.
Yeah.
So, here's the cool thing, right? We started by pledging 5% of our earnings to the Special Olympics. But we've gone on, and why the Special Olympics?
Because I am better Olympic athlete.
That you are.
Yeah, thank you.
And we've gone on to create a whole series of products that raise awareness for causes and raise money. Last week, we introduced our Gold Together socks with the American Cancer Society to fight pediatric cancer. We have Down syndrome awareness socks and autism awareness socks.
Yeah.
In the height of the pandemic, we created healthcare superhero socks that raised over $50,000 for frontline workers. So part of that happiness, we've now raised over $450,000 for our charity partners. And here's a really cool thing. This Special Olympic athlete next to me has donated over $100,000 to the Special Olympics, which is very cool, right?
I am really exciting.
And then the last part is showing what people with differing abilities can do. And it's hiring people, it's sharing in content,
Right.
We host tours, we do speaking engagements, we do advocacy work. And you roll all that together and you have a business that matters. We offer products that make you feel happy. And when you buy from us, you're helping make the world just a little bit happier.
Right.
What more do you want?
Right.
That's a pretty good, wonderful thing. So you guys, obviously, we pulled you into the Pulling Each Other Along book, which literally, I think I got the final copy of it via email to check one more last time. Todd and I have been going back and forth with the book, and just as a little plug, we want to let people know that are out there that you two are part of this book, talking about what pulled you along, all the wonderful things of what pulled you along in that chapter. And we don't want to give all those things away, but we do want to let people know that they can now go to the Pulling Each Other Along website. And in that website, pullingeachotheralong.com, I want to do a little bit of a shout out to a new sponsor. And one of our new sponsors is Scope Design. Scope Design has designed our Pulling Each Other Along website. They have done just an incredible job. It's beyond anything that I could have dreamed up of when we started this book. And we want to give a shout out to Scope Design. But check out pullingeachotheralong.com. And we actually have an offer right now. And if you haven't done this, go to Pulling Each Other Along, look for Terry Bradshaw. And find Terry Bradshaw. No yawning, though, John, on the show.
I apologize.
No, that's all right. If it brings you happiness, yawn all the more, right? So go to our pullingeachotheralong.com and download. You get a free email with a download of the foreword that NFL star Hall of Famer Terry Bradshaw wrote for this coming book. It's funny, it's fun, it'll make you happy. We're getting great response from this, and it's all part of the Pulling Each Other Along, not just book, but movement. And so we want to encourage you guys to do that. And thank you, Scope Design, for designing an incredible website. I hope you guys go and check that out. So you guys are part of this book. What's that?
Do you know how cool that is, John, that we're part of something with Terry Bradshaw? It's very cool.
I really.
You may be too young.
Really?
Really.
No, nobody's too young for Terry Bradshaw.
We'll teach you some history.
There you go. And Rocky Blyer, too. So for those that don't know, Rocky Blyer is a part of this book. And Dave's waving, so I'm going to bring him in.
We were waxing about Rocky Blyer today to some colleagues, talking about what you're doing with Pulling Each Other Along.
Thank you. Dave, what you got, man?
I don't know if I'm muted or not, or what I'm muted. I mean, so anyway, John, question: Special Olympics athlete. What's your specialty in the Special Olympics? What do you?
What's
your big event?
I play basketball. I play track and field. I play soccer. Snowshoeing, and I tell you very cool about Special Olympics. I jump a polar plunge.
He does the polar plunge every year.
I loved it.
Dave, you would love that too, right?
No. I was just going to say, John, you can have that polar plunge, buddy.
So you might appreciate this. We're on Long Island. And John does his polar plunge in November in Long Island Sound.
I love that.
Nice.
I hold his bathrobe. I'm not doing it. But we were up in
Calgary.
We were in Calgary for a speaking event. And John's talking to this young woman who's a Special Olympic athlete.
Yeah.
And she's saying, I do a polar plunge too.
Right.
And that's when her mother explained that it's 20 degrees below when she does it. And they take out a chainsaw to cut a hole in the ice. So that's a polar plunge.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
So Dave Clark, how many millions do we have to raise?
I'll watch.
Dave Clark, how many millions do we have to raise to get you to do that polar plunge?
There isn't enough. Not enough.
John, are you still involved with Special Olympics?
Yes, I am, and
What do you have this weekend?
This weekend, I have two sports. So this Saturday, I'm playing soccer,
Nice.
and then Sunday, I'm playing a snowshoe.
They do.
Wow.
They start snowshoe practice in August.
Yeah,
And they train on a beach.
I train in the summertime. It's really cool because we're having two meet in the winter.
It is. I mean, this is one of the reasons we love Special Olympics.
Yeah.
And say, without the Special Olympics, there'd be no John's Crazy Socks.
Right.
And it fits in with you pulling each other along, right? It's a team. It's a coach that helps lead these guys. So they start training in August. They only do 2 events a year.
Right.
One is at the end of January, and the other is in the middle of February. So think about that.
Yeah.
These guys start training in August for something that's 5 months away.
Right.
How cool. Look at that discipline and the commitment.
I have to be coach. I have to be coach, disciplined. I have to be a good leader. And you can be good sportsmanship.
Very cool.
Yep.
Very cool.
Awesome. That's great.
So, Dave, guys, you got a question for these guys?
Just, I'm wondering. Okay, so you get orders for your socks, right? So then you have obviously you don't just go out in the garage and start making socks, right?
Well, John spends a lot of time down the basement knitting socks.
I don't know about that.
It's not a little mom and pop place, right? We have.
Look where I found John.
Oh, that's perfect there.
Is that the basement?
We do our own fulfillment, so we have a warehouse. We make We contract with mills to make many of our socks. We now have a strategic partner to make them. We also buy from suppliers, but we've shipped now to 85 different countries. We've shipped 360,000 orders.
Absolutely.
This is, and we want to spread happiness. So we have 29,000 online reviews, and 96% are 5-star reviews.
That's great.
If you know about Net Promoter Score, we have a 92, which is off the charts awesome. All because, something, again, you guys can relate to. You just treat people like people. Just treat people well.
Right, and two things that's very important to know is gratitude. And for others.
That's his secret sauce.
Right.
Have gratitude and do for others.
Absolutely.
Well, I tell you what, hopefully the bigger companies are watching this because might be able to learn a little bit of something here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But,
It's we believe the model we have, the social enterprise model, which is gaining popularity, is all the more important.
Mhm.
In the old world, which is still existing, companies said the only people they cared about were the shareholders, were the owners. And we're saying, no, you have to care about all of your stakeholders, your employees, your customers, your community. You have to care about the environment. And profits are important. I mean, understand, right? John and I, we like to live indoors.
We do.
You got to pay the rent, right? But the profits are just fuel for the purpose you have. They just let us do what we want to do.
Right.
100% agree with that. And it seems like you guys have some nice camaraderie. Is this some of your employees? Is that what we're looking at on the screen?
At a Met game.
Yeah, Met game. It's
right,
fun.
We're Met and Jet fans.
Yeah,
so,
we know how people suffer.
We know how to suffer.
That's the rough work when you go to a Mets game together, right?
Yeah, I love that.
Very nice. No, it seemed like you guys were having a lot of fun there, and obviously it seems like you're sports fans. Now, a question I have for you, Mark, before you got involved with us with the Pulling Each Other Along book, were you familiar at all with Dave Clark and his story?
I had heard about it in passing, but I was not familiar with all the details.
Yeah.
Thank God for that, Mark.
Well, I get to learn more, right?
Well, you don't want all the details. We can attest to that. That would be a different kind of show. But Dave's story is incredible, and what he did as a person with severe limitations, and that it's not known by even those in the disability community, to me is still a very sad situation. And I know it's getting known more. And Dave Clark and Dave Stevens and I were just in Hudson Valley. Is that where we took this picture? I think so. It's Hudson Valley. Just this picture was just taken last Saturday.
Oh, cool.
Or Friday.
Yeah.
And Dave Clark and I, and Dave Stevens is being honored with another one of the stories of our Pulling Each Other Along book, and with the Runway of Dreams. He's being honored as like Inspirational Man of the Year with Runway of Dreams, and that's
that's awesome.
And that's going to air. That's going to air on Sunday, and they're all tied to the Pulling Each Other Along book and movement, and we just want people sharing the happiness. We want people sharing stories. If they got a story, reach out to us. A story of something that pulled them along. One of the things I want to just sideline to, because I had a special moment this week. Dave Clark and I. When was the Hickory Camp? August 28th. So at the end of last month.
28.
We had a disability sports camp. We had about 300 people on that field, possibly about 100 people with different limitations playing baseball on a Texas Rangers minor league club. And we give a Pulling Each Other Along award. So for those that aren't familiar with what we do, the book is coming out, but Dave and I have an award, and the award winner is our youngest award winner ever. And he wasn't able to be at the camp because he's literally on hospice right now. And he's 6 years old. And you got to go see this little boy's videos at Team Gabriel Revis, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. It's spelled Revis. But and I was able to go just a couple of days ago, and we had presented this award on the field through the technology of Facebook, and his mom got to watch us give the presentation live on the field. But I was able to go visit him just the other day. His name's Gabriel Revis, and he is such an inspiring little boy. He can't talk. He can communicate in other ways. But he has inspired so many by his joyful attitude. And his inspiration has gone around the world because of his attitude. And we gave him the Pulling Each Other Along Award because of how inspirational his attitude is as this little boy with, let's just say, a lot of limitations and a lot of severe health issues. And we want to shout out to Gabriel. Hopefully his mom's listening tonight, April. And I know I botched his last name again, and she told me how it was spelled. So I gotta get that, or how it was pronounced. So I got to get that completely right. But meeting that little boy was a joy this week, and I had to let everybody know he's pulling everybody along, and that's our most recent Pulling Each Other Along Award winner. So
Wow.
yeah,
It's I know you look at a situation like Gabriel's, but it's what you guys preach all the time. Don't tell me what you can't do. Let's look at what you can do, and let's appreciate what others can do, right? It's when we're going to hire people, it's always focus on what people can do, not what they can't do.
Right.
And look at that amazing power.
well, that comes from Dave Clark. I know he's shaking his head over there. That's what our camps are about. You know, we certainly don't want people focusing on what they can't do. And it's one thing for me to say it, you know, people not going to hear it. But when I have Dave and Dave out there sharing that with the families, their stories of overcoming everything they've come to. And when they're telling people to dream, and not just dream, but actually get out and do things, the perspective of that is so much greater coming from Dave and Dave. And it's really great to be able to put those camps on for not just children, all ages. Like you said, you had a situation where John kind of capped out at an age. At our sports camps, kids don't cap out. But so, Mark, we do want to ask you a question that we alluded to, because this is the Pulling Each Other Along show. What is that one person or thing that you can drill down to that you would like to share of what pulled you along? And John can share the same. He can answer the same question if he so chooses.
Okay.
Well, in the chapter I wrote for the book, I wrote about the impact this man has, that John has on me, and the way he has led me to be a better person and to see what possibilities are out there. But I'll share a small experience I recently had. I was looking back at, I had done a timeline exercise of my life and realized that a pretty critical experience I had was when I went to the Kennedy School of Government at Harvard. I got a master's there. And I was looking back about my gaining acceptance there and realized that a key deciding factor was the fact that I was in the honors program at my undergraduate school at Holy Cross up in Worcester, Mass. And when I thought about that, I realized the only reason I was in that program was because a particular professor, a Jesuit priest named Father Greg Carlson, who ran that program, took the time when I was a sophomore to pull me into his office and say, you should apply for this program. And then where I was at the point in my life when he did that, I never thought of myself of being that type of student or that ilk that I could be in this special program. And I wasn't the type of guy that people were looking on saying, well, let me go help him. And yet this man, for reasons I don't understand, had the generosity of heart to reach out and suggest that I apply to this honors program. And to give you a clue of how I really wasn't an honors student, I still didn't believe he was running the program, and I'm still thinking I'll never get in, even though he's the head of the program telling me to apply. And I mention this because that one act of kindness that he didn't have to do wound up having a pivotal role in what happened with the rest of my life. And neither of us knew it then. And I tracked him down. He's in retirement now. He's in Omaha at Creighton University, and wrote him a letter and sent him some socks.
Yeah.
To say, here I am almost 50 years later. And you did that one thing that changed my life. And I tell you, just writing that letter made me so happy, right? And it's a small thing. You know, it's a first world issue, right? Of, oh, I got into an honors program. But that small act had an impact on my life. And we all get those opportunities to, even a small thing can have a big impact on an individual's life. So I that's an experience I had of somebody pulling me along.
That's a great story. And to me, you know, Mark, what you just said is what we're hoping many people will do. We're actually creating, you might not even know this, we're creating a greeting card where people can send a pulling each other along thank you note to people that they might not have thanked in their lifetime, because we don't want it to just be about a book. We want people to reach out, thank those people like Dave Clark did many years ago when he wrote a book about his life story, and he thanked his first grade classmate that he hadn't seen in 45 years. And for doing that one little kind act like what you just talked about. And if you're not familiar with that, go to our poundofkindness.com website, and you can see one of the most genuine, incredible stories that I wrote a children's book about that is now the inspiration behind the Pulling Each Other Along book. What about you, John? You got anything on your mind as far as
somebody who's pulled you along,
or something?
Oh, maybe Miss Clee.
Oh yeah. My speech teacher, Miss Clee, she's my speech therapist. She helped me that I'm learning about I speak more, and it helped me
help you speak, right?
And
you got invited to speak at the graduation?
Yeah, I did. I was my good friend graduating from high school, and he asked me. I introduced him a valedictorian class, and he asked me. I gave him a speech. Miss Lee helped me the speech.
And that took you worked on that for like 2 months, right?
I did.
Here you are. You could never say valedictorian before. Now it rolls off your tongue.
That is amazing, because I went up.
Oh.
I went up that stage. I woke up to like Johnny Cash. I just dropped that mic.
You did a good job, huh?
I did.
But Miss Clee, and here's the neat thing about John. We'll do speaking engagements around the country.
Right.
And John will be in the middle of that saying, I want to give a shout out to my high school speech teacher, because she's one of the reasons I'm able to stand up in front of a crowd of people, right?
That's
right.
Great.
It changed my life, because I want to thank to my amazing teacher is Dr. Murray Sessions. It changed my life, and how I changed my world, because I go a speaking engagement all the time. I go accuracy. I speak up. I represent to my company, it's not a credit talk, and I represent to my employees, and I hire with different abilities. and so you can do.
Nice.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yes.
So
Are you ready?
sometimes-
it was your radio work.
Sometimes I have a bone to pick with her because when John was very young, he couldn't talk. So we
Right.
learned sign language, and you learn to use a computer device to communicate. And now he talks like all the time.
I never shut up. and
Okay.
one thing that's very important to me,
Yeah.
I'm very inspiration. I have Down syndrome. A Down syndrome never hold me back.
No, it does not.
That's awesome.
Hey, so I've got the question. Dave Geist, do you want to ask the?
Yeah.
So we've got this question, and then I've got a question I'm going to ask everybody.
I got the question, right?
You get the question. There you
You
go.
get the
Oh,
question
man.
for
All right.
both John and Mark.
All right. Every week we ask this question. It's not the most important question of the night, but it's up there.
Pretty important.
Pretty important stuff. Both you guys, for both of you now, Mark and John, what is your favorite donut to eat?
Favorite donut? What donut do you like?
Oh, I have my favorite thing I really like is a rainbow sprinkles.
Rainbow sprinkles on a donut?
Or the donut or on a chocolate frosting.
It's not that you haven't thought about that, have you?
I did.
Let's see.
Mark, what about you?
What's the donut my cardiologist would recommend? the
Oh my
most?
god.
Maybe one of those Boston cream donuts.
Oh, that's
Oh.
Both winners. Both winners.
Yeah,
both women's gonna love that answer.
serious winners there. So, one of the things that I want to ask everybody today, being this is the first day of what?
Football season.
Football.
Oh, there we go. Somebody was like going. So Blake obviously thinks Cowboys got it tonight.
Oh, boy.
So this isn't who your favorite team is question. This is, and we got to chart this down, maybe even have a contest between our guests and the Daves and myself. But who do we predict for Thursday night football winner?
Who's winning tonight?
Who's winning tonight, John?
The Tampa Buccaneers.
Tampa
The
Bay.
Tampa Buccaneers?
We do a football pick show, and we both pick Tampa Bay. But you have to tell them about our football pick show.
Oh yeah. I'll hold your money. Don't bet our pick.
Don't bet on our picks. It's entertainment value only.
Yeah.
But, so both of us were picking Tampa Bay tonight, right?
Right. I'm very excited tonight.
Who's playing tonight?
Tampa Bay and Dallas.
Tampa Bay and Dallas.
In Tampa.
So
And
you're going
Rusty
with Tampa?
Dye picked the Bills.
Well,
You know, it could be that's the only game, right?
it is the only game.
Yeah.
All right. Tank, he's going with the Bucks. So who else is going to throw themselves out there?
You know,
Dave Geist.
the easy pick is Tampa Bay because they're champions, defending champions. But since none of the starters probably played in the preseason on either team, you just don't know what you're going to see. So I'm going to go with Dallas. Just as an upset because everybody's a little bit rusty.
All right. So you're going to be out on the upset side. Dallas Cowboy for Dave Geist. Dave Clark, what do you think?
Let me tell you this, okay? The Dallas Cowboys are like the New York Yankees to me in football. I can't stand them. So it wouldn't matter who was playing Dallas. I'd be picking the other team, so I'm going to Bucks.
No, you just don't like them because you're
Mark?
a Royals fan, right?
Mark, did you give your prediction yet, Mark?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
he said
going,
Bucks.
So
I'm
you said
going with Tampa Bay because
All right.
that
this
guy
one's a hard
Brady.
one for me. This one's a hard one for me because I don't know if you know this, but Byron Leftwich is actually a part of our book as well.
Oh, okay.
And he's the offensive coordinator. He's personal friends with Willie Robinson, who wrote a just wonderful chapter about their childhood of growing up in, let's just say, the not very, very nice side of Washington, D.C. together. And I saw this story unfold as I was helping Willie write it and interviewing him. And Byron Leftwich basically told Willie that on Super Bowl day, they had it in the band. They had it. They're going to win. Absolutely. It was guaranteed. Don't even need to come to the game. Don't even need to watch it. Tampa was going to win the Super Bowl. And, of course, we saw what happened. They did.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was. Well, he didn't tell the world that, though. He just told Willie, his childhood friend. Anyway, they really felt 100% they knew the game plan. I gotta believe Tampa Bay is going to win today. And being an Eagles fan, sorry if that offends half the world that's listening.
It does
But
me.
I don't want the Cowboys to start 1-0. I want the Eagles. I think the Eagles are actually going to have a good year this year, and so I'm going to go with Tampa Bay. So you're the only lone wolf tonight, Dave Dice.
That's okay. I'll take it.
All right, it's all right. It's all right.
Go with the upset.
I think the consensus is the Bucks.
Well, it should be.
Kurt said the Bucks, and Tom Demalaka said the Bucks, and what did Tom?
Tank said the Bucks.
Like
But
I
he said he's not betting because he already owes you some donuts, Dave.
He still does. I know that.
One
know
of these
that.
days. Rusty,
I will not forget.
Rusty is officially 0-1.
He's already lost.
Picking the Bills.
He's a
Very good. Anyway, thanks for joining us, Tyler. You're still there. Thanks for joining us. We are trying to change the world. We've got a book that's coming out. We have people on all sides of the political fence, but we're talking about what's pulling people along and what is human kindness about. And that's what the Pulling Each Other Along book is going to be. And don't forget, anybody that's listening, you can go to pullingeachotheral.com and you can download an incredibly fun foreword written by Terry Bradshaw. Most of you know Terry Bradshaw. If not, just Google him and you'll probably know him then. Anyway, any last questions for our wonderful guest, John's Crazy Socks? I think we sold some stocks tonight.
Well, let's hope.
Yes.
We should pitch.
Yes.
Where do you get those socks?
At johnscrazysocks.com.
There you go.
Like right here, johnscrazysocks.com.
That's right.
And do you have some advice for people?
Yes, I do. Follow your heart. Follow your dream. Work hard so you can do.
There you go.
Very nice. And you guys, one other thing, you guys have your own show as well. When does that air? And
We do a Facebook Live at 2 o'clock. We do 3 shows. Facebook Live at 2 o'clock on Mondays and 7 o'clock on Thursdays. We moved it up a little tonight because of your show. And every Tuesday afternoon at 3 o'clock, what do you host?
I host a dance party every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. It's going to be fun. Everybody on dancing on the
John
Zoom.
hosts an online dance party.
Yes.
And you'll get like 100 people dancing on Zoom.
It's great
It's
fun.
great fun.
hey, so why aren't we dancing?
Dave Clark tried that a few years ago.
Oh, I'm going to take it right now.
Hold on, let me put some hip hop music on. John, so now we definitely know why there's some craziness. Hey, Dave Clark, there's one other thing. We got to give a shout out to Todd Sivan. Who else is out there? We'll share. Who's
I saw the Dakin family from Binghamton. They were watching tonight.
I got them on. I posted that. That was great. We got people from all over. Thank you guys. I think we got a lot of your fans, the John's Crazy Sox fans, watching the Pulling Each Other Along show. So we appreciate that. But I don't even know what I was going to say anymore. So I'm going to.
I got a question.
New question. Go ahead.
I got a question. So I heard the Mets mentioned. Both of you big Mets fans.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
We needed to get them up Binghamton for one of my Rumble Pony camps.
Or Syracuse. You know, we got Syracuse.
Yeah.
We never
we
done
haven't done a camp
Syracuse,
there.
though.
Yeah, we never done. We actually
Done
have a guy.
Syracuse.
We have a guy that was on our show not too long ago that was up with the Mets, and his name is Jake Reed. He was on our show. He came on our show, and Jake is a friend of ours. He's done several camps with us. He loves what we do, and we're planning to have him and his wife on a future show after the baseball season.
Oh, very cool.
Cool.
Well, his wife was a silver medalist in the Olympics in the fast pitch softball.
Wow.
And so he made his debut, but he's been on like 5 teams already this year. So he's currently with the Mets, doing a little rehab, had a little sore elbow after a real nice stint a few weeks ago. So anyway, any last words? We don't really have to end, but I'm sure people are tired of listening to us.
Good.
But the spreading.
Well, thank you very much
Thank you
for
so
having
much.
us on. We're going to spread the word about the book. What you guys are doing is awesome.
Well,
Thank you,
appreciate
guys.
it.
And,
We appreciate
Thank
you guys.
Great having you on the show.
I appreciate it.
We can all say goodbye at the same time. This has been the episode 30 of the Pulling Each Other Along show with Mark and John from John's Crazy Socks. Go buy some socks and go download socks. And then we got to get some downloads for the forward with Terry Bradshaw at pullingeachotheral.com. See y'all next week, and we'll look forward to just making the world a little bit happier. Thank you for you guys for doing that tonight.
Thanks, guys.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Bye.